What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and I am back in North Carolina in the old familiar place where I record these videos. And you can actually expect a couple of changes to be coming soon. We're about to get a new studio going. We're about to set up something a little bit nicer than this, just recording in my room. And we're going to be making some progress on the channel in a couple other ways we'll talk about in maybe a live stream or a later video. But today we're going to be talking about Sundial, ticker symbol SNDL, because there are some updates that I've got for you on this stock, some good and some bad. And we're also going to start off by looking at the chart and seeing what's been going on over the past couple of days and weeks, because it's been about a week and a half since we've talked about Sundial. And you can see that, unfortunately, we are moving down over the past couple of days. Now, Sundial currently is actually following the market. If you look at the S&P 500 and the chart of Sundial, you'll notice that they're almost identical. Look, this is the Sundial chart right here, and then we're moving to the S&P, and you'll notice that during the same periods that Sundial is moving down, so is the S&P, and then over the past week or so as we rebounded, so did Sundial, and now over the past couple of days we are moving down. So Sundial is essentially following the market, except Sundial's moves are outsized, right? Sundial, when it moved up, went up about 33%, just about from 29 cents to around 40 cents. So about a 33% gain on Sundial, whereas the market was only up a couple percentage points. So Sundial is a potential way, if you're expecting the market to be moving up, to potentially get in and get some additional exposure percentage point wise. That's a potential thing you could do, right? But overall, there are other catalysts that I care about with Sundial, not just waiting for the market to go up. There are other things that could be moving the stock. Now, unfortunately, we did get some bad news the other day regarding cannabis legalization, and specifically banking legalization for cannabis companies. Cannabis companies currently are unable to use banks because they're not technically legal operating companies according to federal law. They're unable to use banks. And so there was a Safe Banking Act that was proposed and was actually being included in a bill that was in the Senate and meant to compete with China. And it's called the America Competes Act. Unfortunately, the Safe Banking Act actually got taken out of that before the Senate decided to vote on it. So we'll see if this act actually ends up passing, but the Senate did decide to take out the Safe Banking Act, which is not the best thing to see if we're hoping for cannabis to be legalized, because if the Senate's taking out the Safe Banking Act for cannabis companies to be able to do banking, then it doesn't seem too likely that the same people would want to fully legalize cannabis, right? So that's a situation to think about. However, there is some good news, right? Just because the Senate isn't passing this today doesn't mean they're not going to potentially change their minds, especially regarding the fact that we do have some midterm elections coming up, and we are actually seeing a lot of pressure being put on politicians to potentially support cannabis legalization. One specific instance of this involves a politician we've talked about in the past, Representative Nancy Mace. Okay, she is a Republican from South Carolina, and she has in the past introduced a cannabis legalization bill into the House. Now, that's what she's well known for, because she is a Republican, and it's typically not the most Republican thing to be introducing cannabis legalization bills, but it's becoming more and more accepted. And we used to talk about her in the past when she was introducing this bill, but we did just see her win the primaries in South Carolina, despite a bunch of cannabis-specific attacks coming from her opponent, okay? Her primary opponent launched a bunch of cannabis-specific attacks against her, and it did not seem to make a difference. She still came out on top and won that primary. Now, hopefully, that is a good indication that we're going to see more support for legalization, not just in the actual government, but in terms of who people elect into the government, right? If we're able to kind of show the politicians out there that we're more willing to vote for them if they're actually pro-cannabis legalization, as most people in the country are. We've looked at poll after poll after poll and seen that most people are actually in support of legalization, at least at the citizen level, not necessarily at the politician level. But if we could show the politicians that people are going to vote and put their votes where their ideas are, then potentially we could see some movement after Chuck Schumer introduces his cannabis legalization bill before the August recess. Now, that means if he does introduce that bill, we've got about a month and a couple of days before that should be introduced, and that is the time that I would want to be in Sundial already, right? I'm looking at the Sundial chart, and it's gone down quite a bit. We're going to take a look. It's gone down quite a bit over the past 90 days or so. It's dropped pretty dramatically. It's at multi-year lows, and all in all, it's looking like a pretty good buy in terms of the catalysts that we have potentially coming in the near future, right? Chuck Schumer's bill for cannabis legalization should be coming out before the August recess, as long as he keeps his word. Hopefully, he will do that. And other than that, even if he doesn't, it seems likely that we would, at some point in the very near future, see some kind of cannabis legalization bill coming into either the House or the Senate that would have enough support, because it's just become a situation where there are so many people who are actual voters who are in support of this that it would be kind of ridiculous for politicians to not enact it at some point in the near future, in my opinion, at least. I mean, that's just my opinion, obviously, not financial advice. But if you guys appreciate that, that's what we've got in terms of a Sundial update. And hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.